I've been knocking on the door here at the Social Security office, but no one's answering. What you're looking at is a Social Security office in Iowa, in one of the most rapidly aging states in the country. The office has been closed for months now, and no one knows if or when it will reopen.
It's kind of neglecting the older people.
It's kind of distressing, like, okay, now where do I go?
This is just one office, but it's part of a crisis that most people aren't even aware of.
And how did you find out that it closed?
From you?
Social Security has existed for 90 years, but right now it's at a breaking point. So we went to Iowa to find out, why is it breaking and who's responsible?
The backlog has just gotten worse and worse. They call in the 800 number, they're on hold for 5 hours, and then the calls dropped.
And for people who paid into this system for their entire lives, it feels like a betrayal.
I'm angry. It's almost like you're being punished for being on Social Security.
And what are the consequences for the 70 million people who receive Social Security checks every month?
Everybody has parents that reach a certain age.
What does it mean if all of them don't get their checks all at the same time?
That's primarily my income.
I worry for my children, is who I worry for. That's who I worry for. The next generation is in trouble.
Is it possible to talk to a representative?
Would you like me to text you a link so you can do it now? Text and data rates may apply.
Susan Ludeking is a retiree we met in Decorah, Iowa.
Is it possible to talk to a person?
Sorry, did you want me to text you a link? Text and data rates may apply depending on your plan and your carrier.
This is crazy. Now she's 74 and she works part-time.
I work for a couple Dollar Generals. I go over and service the cards. Just took down Easter, put up Mother's Day.
Susan is one of at least 40% of elderly Americans who rely on Social Security for at least half of their income every month.
I did sign up for Social Security when I was 63 because I was considered fully disabled because of the arthritis.
What do you use that $1,500 for?
Well, that pays my rent and my utilities. My utilities are high here because it's an older building.
And since she's signed up for Social Security, Susan has had an office to go to nearby to get her questions answered. Like recently, when she got a letter in the mail about a refund and wasn't sure if it was legitimate. How could someone at the office help you determine if it's a scam or not?
Because they can look up your account and tell you exactly. They have access to all that information. And I went in there and it said, office temporarily closed.
When it first opened, they had about 5 people in the office.
Last time I think I was in there was only one guy in there.
Lorraine Borowski is the city's former mayor.
She knows everything about Decorah.
There was a person that had been there for a long time that was ready to retire. He was an extremely dedicated person.
When the employee retired, Lorraine fought to keep the office open, but the Decorah office has been closed since last fall. The closest offices now are in La Crosse, Wisconsin, Rochester, Minnesota, and Waterloo, Iowa. Call the Waterloo office. Waterloo is an hour-and-a-half drive from here.
I mean, I can't exactly hop in the car and drive to a city that I'm not familiar with and drive around for another 15 minutes or better trying to find an office. That would be very difficult.
I think you're looking at how that progresses from local to regional, state, and national.
Thousands of Social Security employees left the agency in 2025, leaving it the most understaffed it's ever been. And this was no accident.
Since Reagan, we've been faced with an environment that says
government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Treating Social Security as a problem.
During the campaign, I called attention to the fact that Social Security had both a short and a long-range fiscal problem.
Social Security benefits themselves can't be cut like other social programs, but the agency that runs it can be defunded. Jessica LaPointe worked as a claims specialist for Social Security for 14 years. Now she's the president of AFGE Council 220, which represents Social Security workers in field offices and call centers.
Congress failed to meet the demands of the baby boomer by staffing up the administration.
In 1995, there were 43 million people on Social Security. Today, more than 70 million people are. But over the same time period, the number of people working for the agency actually declined.
Coming into 2025, we were an agency in crisis. We weren't getting hires to meet the demand of the public.
Demand just goes up and up and up. You already had the lowest staffing levels in the history of Social Security before Trump took office.
But retirees are some of the most reliable voters. So on the campaign trail, President Trump made a show of keeping Social Security safe.
We're not touching Social Security, other than we make it more efficient.
But efficiency is just another word for the fiscal problem Reagan harped on decades ago, one that led to hiking the retirement age. And when he took office last year, Trump unleashed Elon Musk and DOGE to finally solve it.
We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program.
But DOGE couldn't just axe Social Security. It's too popular. So instead they took it out back and let it bleed dry. Since Trump took office, Social Security has lost more than 8,000 workers, including at many field offices.
They lied, they pretended, there's all this waste and abuse.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
They're trying to destroy it through the side door.
They created a buyout program. Over 50% of our field workers do not make a living wage. You got low morale, denigration. Of course you're gonna think the buyout is attractive.
At least 9% of field office workers are gone.
We were at a 50-year staffing low, high attrition rates, and 7,000 more workers left the Social Security Administration.
And all of this means disaster for the people who need those services.
Long wait times, delays in getting an appointment. When you're faced with a disability, you don't have the luxury of waiting several months to get through.
A ghost office is an office that doesn't function anymore. You can't get the services that you need because there's not enough people.
I'm angry. I'm almost 80 years old. I've paid into that system since I was 15 years old, and it's my money.
As more workers leave the agency, many are worried that getting help in person from Social Security could eventually become a thing of the past. It seems like they're really trying to push people to go online here.
Everything's go online. Well, a lot of people don't want to go online. You don't know 100% if you've got a secure website.
The Trump administration set a goal this year of reducing in-person traffic at these offices by 50%. But for some people, technology and modernization haven't been an improvement. Alice has been locked out of the agency's website for years. She's still not totally sure why.
For me, it would be so easy to use the electronic, but I can't do it anymore.
Alice tried calling, going to Iowa City, going to Coralville.
It was 20 hours of phoning and going and dealing, and it's not acceptable, just not.
No.
What would I do if I had to change where my payment went? Or if my husband passed away? I won't do it now. I mean, there's no point, it's too stressful.
In December, an audit claimed that Social Security phone wait times were down to 7 minutes. But the same report showed that 25 million calls to Social Security ended without a caller receiving service. And those wait times don't include callbacks.
The estimated hold time is 40 minutes. To avoid waiting on the phone, we can call you back when it's your spot in line.
And so if there was an issue with your payment, if you need to talk to anybody, what do you do?
I'd have to make an appointment in one of these cities, and that would be a couple of weeks, or for all I know, it could be a month out, and drive there and take the appointment.
It is absolutely a cascading failure situation. If this office in Decorah, Iowa, is no longer accessible to people, it's not that the people are going to stop needing the services.
Is this what you thought life would be like as a retired person?
No. No.
There's legislation in Congress now that would restore Social Security staffing levels to what they were at the end of the Biden administration. But that would just be a start to undoing 40 years of disinvestment from Washington and meeting the demand of millions of more retirees in the coming years.
We need about 30,000 more workers. We just need the will of the leaders of not only the Social Security Administration, but this country to fix this problem in real time.
We called some of Iowa's leaders in Washington with questions about the Decorah office and when it might reopen.
You have reached the office of Senator Joni Ernst. Please leave a message.
But we're still waiting to hear back.
The magnitude of what you're talking about is going to become immediately apparent when you have 70 million people's benefits all of a sudden in question, whether they're coming or not.
I see a dismantling of so many things. It breaks your heart, really.
What's your message to politicians?
You know, grow some balls, and please, why don't you take care of the people that elected you to do just that?
Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. If you rely on Social Security benefits and have had trouble accessing your local office, or if you're a Social Security worker, we want to hear from you. Our email is stories@perfectunion.us.